afternoon, everyone. It's my pleasure to welcome to this exclusive event titled Innovation and Medical Excellence in the Heart of Manta, the role of SIME in the community's well-being. Today, we are joined by experts who will share valuable information in how to safeguard our health and well-being, as well as that our loved ones. Before we begin, I would like to say thank you to each of you for attending today. I would also like to acknowledge the presence of our speakers, Marcos on the back, Dr. Baque is coming soon, and BlueBox, myself, thank you so much, and my team is over there. Carla is the SIME CEO. She will be with us during the event. Welcome, Carla. Before we begin, again, thank you to everybody to be here. I am honored to be in the company of three esteemed partners today, each of whom has made distinct and invaluable contributions to the betterment of our community. BlueBox, with 13 years of experience in the insurance industry, EcuaAssist, a law firm that has been providing legal support to the community for over 13 years, and SIME, committed to upholding medical excellence and continuously prioritizing the well-being of all patients. Our first speaker will be Marcos Chiluisa. I would like to introduce to Marcos, the esteemed CEO of EcuaAssist. He will be discussing a fundamental topic, legal documents for health-related matters. Mr. Chiluisa will explain the essential documents that ensure our health decisions are legally protected and how they can support us during critical moments. Marcos, thank you so much. Please, let's give him a round of applause. Thank you so much.
Hello, can you hear me there? Well, thank you for coming this afternoon. I know we have a lot of friends here and a lot of new people are here in Manta. Well, what I'm going to talk today is about the medical POA. I have seen a lot of you in other seminars, and you probably can speak about this better than I do. But I have seen new faces. But basically, the medical POA is a document that you give powers to a person to make decisions on your behalf. Why this is important? The reason why this is important is because sometimes you cannot get a surgery or any medical procedure if you're unconscious. If you're unconscious, the doctors here in Ecuador, they cannot perform a medical procedure. So that's why it's very, very important for you to have a medical POA, to have someone else looking after you or looking after that medical procedure. So we have what is the Article 15 of the Medical Code, what says that doctors, they're not allowed to perform any surgery or any medical procedure if you don't have a medical power of attorney. I don't know if anyone has a question at this point. Yes, please go ahead.
Without a POA, can your wife make those decisions for you if you're not capable of doing that?
Okay, that's a good question. The question was if your wife can make decisions on your behalf. Most of you have your cedulas, right? In your cedulas, you will see that has the name of your spouse. If you have the name of your spouse, you don't need a medical power of attorney. Okay? So that's the answer. Anyone else?
We have a medical
power of attorney that's in the United States.
Well, the question is, they have a medical POA in the US, and if this is accepted here in Ecuador. The answer is yes, as long as you have it with the apostille. But here's the but. When you are here in Ecuador and you're driving your cars with a US driver's license, if they're not familiar with that document, they will say, no, this is unacceptable. So that's the risk. But if you have it, you can enforce them to accept that medical POA as long as you have the apostille in this document. Okay? Somebody else? Any other question? Okay. Well, one of the things that for us is we have been promoting the integration of the community here in Manta and in the other cities where we have offices. And we have noticed that some expats, they're living here by themselves. And sometimes they cannot make decisions about what will happen with their remains when they pass away. By default, since the Ecuadorian culture is a very Catholic society, all bodies, all remains will be buried. But what about those who would like to be cremated? For those who would like to be cremated, they have to make an affidavit of remains. In this affidavit of remains, you're making the statement before a local notary that your wish is to be cremated. You don't need a will, you don't need a medical POA, you just need an affidavit for your remains to be cremated. I know this is one of the topics that it is always hard to speak about. But listen, living in another country, you have to think about this. For me, it's like, God forbid, like I would like that anyone will pass away, but that's the only certainty that we have. We better take care of these documents, and they're not expensive. I think you can get an affidavit for remains for less than $60. You can get a medical POA for $120. You will be covered. You will be covered. So at this point, any person who has any question? Here, not here. Okay. Yes, please go ahead. Yes, correct. The remains? Oh no, for the remains. Well, your cedula will be good for that because, and this happened, I think I have shared this in other seminars. Both of my parents, they passed away. And the only way my dad, because my mom, he passed away first, my dad who could make decisions over her body, it was because in his cedula appeared the name of my mom. So he was capable to make decisions over that. But I had clients that they come to the office and they ask, what if something happens to us at the same time? It will be only for those very specific cases, but it is very important that you have this information so you can make decisions about your health, about your remains, and that's why we're here this afternoon. Any other question back there? You always have good questions. Yeah, see me. You. No, you don't have any questions today. I think this is the fourth time you have heard this presentation. Well, since this is a very short presentation, we have brought some gifts for you this afternoon. So, under your seats, you have an special gift that you just go down. Tenemos la canasta, por favor, la canasta. Yes, please go ahead.
Nope.
Yes, we have a. You don't have it?
No, she doesn't have it.
Yes, you do. No, you don't.
Nope.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I have mine.
I'm sorry. Well, what do you get? Well, first you get the QR code for the emergency car. This is where you can get registered and you can have some important health information about you. And if you want us to contact a person, whether it's in Ecuador, the US, or Canada, if something happens to you, we will get notified and we will be contacting this person who you would like to know to get informed if something happens to you. The other one, we have since I know a lot of you are retirees, and this is what I would like to do, to have some drinks watching the sunset. So our special partner, Señor Marisco, do you know where Señor Marisco is? This is at La Cuadra. They're offering us three cocktails and you pay 2. So this is a special gift for some of you this afternoon. And the prime price, you have it. We have a basket of fruits for you this afternoon because we're talking about health, and Carlos is bringing to all of us options to get a better immune system. Please go ahead. Let's give an applause. Okay, this is all my presentation. You have all our contact information in the folders, in the red folders. Feel free to grab one of the EcuaAssist pens. But if you have any questions about medical POA, affidavit for remains, please let us know and we will be happy to answer any of your questions. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Marcos, thank you so much. Next, I'm pleased to introduce myself. Hello to everyone. I am the next speaker. Okay, well, I am the BlueBox CEO, and I would like to share some insights on how to optimize the benefits on your insurance policies. I will explain the best way to manage the reimbursement process, ensuring that you maximize your coverage benefits. Inside the folder, the BlueBox folder, you will find a document called Key Information for Health Claims. This has a summary about what I will be talking about. But I want to start saying that all the coverage, all the health insurance companies, no matter which company you are using now, will cover you in the network or out of the network. What is the best way to use your health insurance policies? Using services in the network. Who is in the network? For example, SIME, where we are now. They have different kind of doctors, specialists, laboratory for tests. Then when you are in the network, under the network coverage, normally the insurance company will cover you 90% and 10% will be your copay. And you will forget the paperwork, you will forget the reimbursement process, and basically will be more easy manage your medical services. But of course, also, you will have some cases where you need to request reimbursement because you may have your own doctors or you may have an emergency, hospitalary coverage out of SIME that unfortunately we do not have yet hospitalization services. But if you are out of the network, all the health insurance companies also will cover you by reimbursement. How much they will reimburse you? 80%. But of course, we will need to submit some important paperwork that here in Ecuador will depend a lot from the client, from the patient. And why, especially right now? Because from last year in November, we have a data protection law that basically say that all the information, personal information, documents, certificates, everything will be handled by you, by the client. Then, right now, got some paperwork from doctors or certificates in your name can be difficult for us. Sometimes we can do that, but using a special letter that you authorize to BlueBox to collect those paperwork. Then my recommendation is when you are going to see a doctor or you have an emergency or you will planify a surgery, basically keep this document that will explain you which documents you may need depending what kind of treatment is, okay? But also I will explain how to pre-authorize surgeries, a specific test has endoscopies, colonoscopies, physical therapies. What you need to consider, your insurance company and your insurance broker will need a certificate, okay, explaining what kind of procedure is, including codes. All medical treatment in Ecuador has codes that will identify each treatment, each surgery, each kind of medical need, okay? And also we will need a medical history supporting, of course, the diagnosis and the kind of treatment that you may need. We will collect those paperwork and we can request to the insurance company to pre-authorize a surgery. When a surgery or a physical therapy or a treatment is pre-authorized, basically you will pay copays, okay? In a surgery, you will need to consider a warranty that normally the clinic will request you until the company pay to the clinic, but the warranty will be back with you as soon that happens, okay? Now, reimbursement out of the network. I will make a recommendation. When you will go ahead with a surgery out of the network, take a second opinion. Take a second opinion because unfortunately, in my experience, a lot of doctors will tell you surgery, 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 and then when you go to take a second opinion, different test, the procedure can change, may change, okay? Also, be sure to be in touch with us considering the cost of the surgery, because sometimes can be overcharged. Thank you so much. It's better now? Yeah? But back and here. Thank you so much. Thank you. I will keep as it is now.
Yes.
Hope everybody can hear me, okay? Now, talking about surgeries again, can be a good idea take a second opinion and also double check the cost of the surgery, because in reimbursement process, as I told you, the surgeries will have codes. The insurance company will use those codes to identify how much is the reasonable cost for a surgery. Then sometimes doctor overcharge you. If you will go ahead with a surgery, let us know and we can give you an idea in how much is a reasonable cost for the surgery, and then you will have surprises at the end of the reimbursement. Okay? Now, ambulatory reimbursement, doctor appointments, you will need reimbursement form that the doctor will fill it out, stamp it and sign it. Okay? The medical certificate will be necessarily only in chronic illness or a specific test, as colonoscopies, endoscopies, a brain test, a sleep apnea test, On those cases, you will need a medical certificate that basically will explain to the company your condition and the test that you will need, okay? Test order is necessarily with the diagnostic stamp and dates, okay? Test results And here is an important thing that you will need to remember, and is that the invoice will be, of course, in your name, but in Ecuador, the invoice will be electronic invoice. When you pay, normally the pharmacy or the doctor or the lab will give you just a receipt, but the real invoice goes to your email. Then a recommendation is double check that the person that is getting your information is collecting the correct email address, because if not, you never will get the invoice. Okay? Then please be sure that your invoice is correct. Now, sometimes we had cases with clients that told us a doctor offered me as a combo for my surgery, you know, and then the client will pay just an amount to the doctor, and the doctor gave us an invoice for the total amount for the surgery. This not will work. Why? Because the doctors can't give you invoice for all the procedure. They can't give you a detail of invoice for the room and food that you may need, for the medicines, for all the rest of the stuff. When you gave us an invoice, need be a detailed invoice, okay? With everything detailed, doctor fee, room and food, medicines, treatments, tests, everything need be detailed. Then be careful with that too. Be sure that the doctor can manage the invoice in detail for all the procedure. On the reimbursement for surgeries, you will need everything what I explained it before, but also you will need the medical history, okay? On surgeries, the clinic will give you a medical history, and it can take almost 5 working days to give you this document. Then, if a clinic told you, I will give you the certificate in 5 working days, you will need to wait a little bit, because this is the regular time that they will need to give you those documents, okay? The rest of the paperwork is primarily the same. Test orders, test result, invoice in your name, okay, reimbursement form, but plus the clinic history. And then you have the claim completed to be sent to the insurance company, okay? Emergencies is different, because not is something that you will planify, it's an emergency. Then you have another document that is the 008 form. That basically is the form that will inform to the company what was the emergency, what happens at the emergency room. Then all the paperwork that I mentioned before, clinic history, test orders, test results, invoice, medicines, everything, but plus the 008 forms in emergencies, okay? Now, reimbursement for therapists, physical therapists especially. When you go out, the best way to manage physical therapists can be pre-authorizing, okay? But if you go ahead with your therapist and then you need a reimbursement process, you will need the reimbursement form again. You see that we will include the reimbursement form in all the procedures, okay? Reimbursement form, medical certificate, order for the physical test, for the physical therapy, and also your physiotherapist will give you a certificate that basically will explain to us how many sessions you needed, what was the diagnostic, how the treatment improves your health, and if basically you will need later more therapy, okay? Then this is the different kind of process for reimbursement. Ambulatory doctor appointments, emergencies, okay, surgeries, physical therapy, you can be reimbursed, but also you can pre-authorize everything what I am mentioned now, okay? Something very important also is consider waiting periods, because the waiting periods when you recently got a contract with a health insurance policy will be 24 hours for emergencies, life risk emergency. If I feel pain on my stomach and I go to the emergency room, probably later the company will tell you this is an urgency, not an emergency. Life risk emergencies, 24 hours, okay? Hospitality, 3 months. You need room and food. 3 months is the waiting period, okay? Ambulatory, doctor appointments and medicines, 1 month. After 1 month, you are covered. The most important waiting period is pre-existing conditions. Under the Ecuadorian law, the maximum waiting period for pre-existing conditions will be 2 years. And the maximum coverage for pre-existing conditions, 20 Ecuadorian basic salaries. That right now is around $9,500. Okay? We have some insurance options that will cover you after 1 year for pre-existing conditions, but I can tell you probably 99% of the companies will give you 2 years waiting period for preconditions. After the waiting period, well, you will be covered in a certain amount depending of the policy that you have. That's the reason why many of our clients also combine 2 policies. Combine a basic insurance with a major medical plan. Why? Because each policy will cover preconditions. Then after 2 years, a smaller policy will cover preconditions and the major medical plan will cover preconditions too. And basically, you will save money, you will have better premiums, and you will have double coverage for preconditions. It's a really good idea. Got 2 policies versus just 1 policy. Okay? Yes, sir.
After 2 years, does it go beyond 9,500 or is it always 9,500?
Always will be 9,500. This is right now is an estimate about 20 Ecuadorian basic salaries. But normally the basic salary will increase a little bit. Then every year will be a little bit more for precondition. Also, it is for the medical inflation, you know, but it's correct. What is a pre-existing condition? You need to consider that a precondition can be symptoms, okay? Symptoms, diagnosis, illness, any illness that I already know, a doctor give me a diagnostic is a precondition. Surgeries, no matter what kind of surgery was, or no matter in where I got the surgery, I need to report it. Sometimes the company will tell you, no, not necessarily give you waiting period for that, but it's important to report all the surgeries, okay? And finally, medicines. If you are taking medicines, we need to inform to the insurance company. Now, let's talk a little bit about exclusions, because health insurance have exclusions, okay? Yes, sir?
So, some of us started with you early under different policy, different company, and we moved over. So, were we grandfathered or protected on our pre-existing condition?
When you okay, well, the question is that our clients switch policies. When you switch policies, the company will respect the continued coverage. Okay, this is the question, correct?
To include the pre-existing condition.
Yes. Yeah. The new company, when you are for example, in an insurance company, and you decide to leave the company and move to another one, not always the new company will respect the waiting period. But if it's a negotiation between the insurance company and the broker, as we had in your case, the new insurance company will agree to give you coverage on the conditions immediately. But if you do that with by yourself, with no insurance broker, working directly with an insurance company, basically everything will start again. Okay, 2 years again. What is not covered? Medical expenses, discardable supplies. Okay, IVA, taxes, not is covered. If you send to the insurance company a claim including IVA for some medicines or procedures, IVA not will be reimbursed. Why? Because it's credito tributario. Basically, it's a tax that SRI also can give you back some money. Okay? Cosmetic treatments not are covered. Okay? Procedures that not are medical needs not are covered. Okay? Vitamins not are covered, and vaccines not are covered in Ecuador. Why? Because vaccines are part of the health minister. The health minister is responsible for all the vaccines. Okay? Then when you need a vaccine, you can talk with us and we can tell you where you can go it. But vaccines can't be reimbursed from the insurance companies. Okay? A few recommendations. Yes, sorry.
Do I understand this under exclusions? Preventive health care. So a pap smear, a mammogram, a colonoscopy are not covered?
This is a good question because pap test, mammogram is covered. Okay? In men's, prostatic test is covered. But those 3 tests are the only one covered for all the insurance companies in Ecuador. Okay? What happens with annual preventive checkups? The question was if the exclusion is preventive health care, and if this excludes also mammogram, pap test, a prostatic test, and colonoscopies. The colonoscopy is an exclusion. You need a diagnostic to be covered in a colonoscopy. But mammogram, pap test, no matter the result, is covered. Prostatic test, no matter the result, is covered. What happens with annual preventive checkup? I decide to go to see my doctor. The doctor will order some tests. The test results show a problem, basically will be covered because I will have a diagnostic. If the doctor tells you everything is good with you, you can go home. Well, basically the insurance company not will cover. Okay? Yes, sir.
With pre-existing conditions, you said they need to be here for 2 years in order for them to be covered, even for a procedure or something that was 10 years old.
Yes. Okay. The question is for preconditions. For preconditions, we need to wait the 2 years, no matter if a surgery was 10 years ago. Okay. In Ecuador, no matter when was the surgery, no matter when was the diagnostic or the treatment, we need to report it. Okay. The insurance company normally not will request more information at the beginning of the policy, but can do that later. Okay. Then it's important to report everything. Also, some policies can give you the option to report now a new condition, but will give you the waiting period starting now. You know, not affecting the rest of the coverage, but only for this one will include with a new waiting period. Okay. Recommendations for a successful claim. First, take care and inform all the pre-existing conditions to your company. Okay. Normally, all the companies will give you 90 days to present claims. Try to do that in 1 month maximum. You know, never it will be convenient wait, I don't know, 80 days, 85 days and give my paperwork. Why? Because the company can request more information and then you will be on the limit of time and probably you will lose your claim. Okay? Try to do that in 30 days maximum. Now, be sure that all the documents include the correct information about you, your full name correctly spelled, okay? That all the documents are stamped from the doctor, and especially for emergencies, be sure about the 008 form, because in an emergency, in my experience, especially with expats, sometimes doctors have problems to understand you. Okay? Then sometimes you try to explain something and they will put wrong information on the clinic history. We manage a lot of those cases. Then in an emergency room, be sure that the doctor is helping you got the correct information. Okay? Questions, sirs? Questions?
The deductible, does it start when we start with you, or does it start in January 1st?
The deductible is yearly, but depending when the contract started. And it's 1 year from then.
Okay.
And normally the deductible is 1 time per year, per contract. You know? Any other question? Yes, sir?
Does the insurance carrier have the right to determine the staffing of the OR for a procedure?
If the insurance company,
Has the right to determine the staffing, the number of people required for the surgery?
well, not necessarily. not necessarily, because what happens, sometimes in some surgeries, a doctor can need more people for the surgery, okay? But we will got the explanation about that on the clinic history. And basically the doctor will include there why he needs another doctor. Or if will be a pre-approval, for example, on the pre-approval form with the codes, he will justify why he will need another surgeon or another person on the surgery. Then, by reimbursement, the clinic history will show to the company why your doctor needed another doctor. And pre-approval with the documents that we submit before the surgery.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Okay, well, thank you so much. Another question? Sorry, sir. Sorry.
If after the pre-authorization is approved, he adds another doctor that wasn't on the pre-authorization, then what happens?
After the pre-authorization, sorry?
Yes, and he wants one doctor himself, but later on,
During the surgery.
yeah, and then afterwards, he adds 3 more doctors. And who pays for that?
Well, when it's pre-authorized,
Yes.
basically the clinic will notify that to the insurance company at the moment that that happens. Then you are in the middle of a surgery and the doctor needs to call to another doctor. At the same time, the clinic will notify your company. And the company will know that another doctor will be necessary. And basically they will inform the codes and which doctor they will need. And then basically the company will authorize that too. And by reimbursement, basically the clinic history will show why we needed another doctor. Yes, Senor Douglas.
Very specific question. This may be a question for SIME. I'm not sure. But there's specialists here that recommend surgeries. I know that in my specific instance, Vida Buena, the rheumatologist that was here at SIME was not part of the network. Has that changed or adjusted in any way?
Well, but Vida Buena has SIME in the network.
Yes, but their surgeon, particular specialist or surgeon was not in the network.
Oh, well, Dr. Baque or Carla, probably could you tell us why some specific kind of doctors are excluded from pre-approvals, but definitely Mr. Douglas, Dr. Baque can answer this question. I want to ask him to keep in mind to answer the question. And pap test always will need to be pre-approval or can be reimbursed. Considering that a mammogram and pap test is a test already authorized one time per year, no matter if it's by reimbursement or is pre-authorized, will be covered. Mammogram and pap test. Also, no matter the result. Remember that all the other kind of tests will need a diagnostic to be covered. Mammogram and pap test, no. Then will be covered by reimbursement or will be covered with a pre-authorization. Yes.
But the colonoscopy means doctors
Not is included as a preventive test, but if you need it with a diagnostic, can be pre-authorized. The question is if colonoscopy needs to be pre-authorized, and if it's a preventive test authorized, no, not is included as a preventive test. If you need a colonoscopy, basically your doctor will need to justify why you need it. And he needs to give the certificate and the form to pre-authorize it. Okay? Okay, well, thank you so much. Thank you. Okay, our third speaker, let's see. Up next, Dr. Bill Baque, a physician from SIME, colic syndrome, a crucial topic in elderly care. Dr. Baque will provide practical recommendations for preventing and managing this condition. Welcome, Dr.
Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon, everybody. Wake up. Well, good afternoon. My name is Bill. Believe it or not, that's my real name. Beer, yes, very Ecuadorian name. I can talk about that history later, but today we're going to talk about another stuff. Okay, I'm Dr. General Medicine. I'm working here at SIME since March of this year. Okay, I usually replace different partners of general medicine, family medicine, and medicine of the adults every month. So usually I'm here 2 months. Okay? And well, my skills with English is also another part of my profession. Well, the point of this conversation about this theme that we're going to talk about is because we're going to talk about one disease that is the conjunction or the end of all the chronic disease that many people have. Okay? You should know that all those chronic diseases can be treated here at SIME. Okay, you can see, and you will see later, we're going to make a tour with all of you, and you will see all the different departments that we have, lab, pharmacy, physiotherapy, the different specialties, ultrasound, CT scan, lab, and all of that you're going to know today. Okay? So I'm going to talk about one special disease that is called metabolic syndrome. Okay, there are two important words. Syndrome is every reunion of signs that we can see in the patient and symptoms that you refer to us. And the metabolism are different chemical reactions of our body. Okay, while I'm talking, when you walk, when you sleep, when you eat, all those are chemical reactions. Well, all these chemical reactions don't work as it should, it starts the metabolic syndrome. Okay, the metabolic syndrome is the reunion of 5 risk factors. Okay, and I'm going to ask you, when you were at the last medical consult, did somebody measure your waist? Do you remember? Yeah. Yes, 1. And the rest? 2. The rest? Somebody measured your waist? 3. No. We are more than 30 people and only 3 have been measuring your waist. So you know where goes the problem. Okay? The first risk factor is the belly button. Okay? It's a measured waist bigger than 105 in men centimeters and more than 88 centimeters in women. Okay? We use centimeters, we don't use inches. Okay? You know that. So that is one risk factor. It is one of the most important, but at the same time, it's one of the most unrated. Because being honest, you saw not everybody measures the waist when you go to a medical consult. Okay? That is something that we have to change. That is the first risk factor. The another risk factor, most of them are lapse factor. Okay? When you have high levels of triglycerides, okay, more than 150. That's another risk factor. When you have bigger levels of sugar in your blood, more than 100 fasting glucose. That's another. And the third one, you should know that in your body we have good and bad cholesterol. Okay? The bad cholesterol stays in our vessels, they stop the blood, and after that comes the heart attack, strokes, and everything. But the good cholesterol transport all the bad cholesterol and clean all the vessels. Okay. If you have low levels of good cholesterol, that's another risk. In women, normally at the age of 50, they are protected by the estrogen. Okay. With the high level of estrogen, they have good levels of the good cholesterol. But after those age, the lower the levels of estrogen make lower the levels of the good cholesterol. So in women, levels less than 40 is another risk factor. And in men's, levels less than 50 is another risk factor. Another risk factor is your blood pressure. Okay? Blood pressure, if you have hypertension, that's automatically one risk factor. But if you have no high levels of blood pressure, but regularly your pressure is over 130, the systolic, or over 85, the diastolic, that is another risk factor. So we have the 5 risk factors. The abdominal circumference, high levels of glucose, high levels of triglycerides, low levels of cholesterol, and high levels of blood pressure. If you have 3 of that ones, or more of that 5 points, you have a metabolic syndrome. What is the problem? The problem is that first we treat each one as different disease. You know, you go to the cardiology for the blood pressure, you go to the endocrinology for the diabetes, you go to the nutrology for the cholesterol, but it's not like that. I mean, there should be some medical person that check all of this as one only disease. Okay? Why? The principal problem, the light, lights up, don't worry. I should talk, just, I don't know, we have a generator. We have generators. Well, the problem is that you treat this like each different disease, but it's only one. Okay? Why? Because all the food that we eat in our body becomes the sugar. Yes, that is the truth. For example, if you eat fried chicken in front of here, I'm going to say this also, but if you eat a fried chicken, you say, I'm going to eat just protein and fat. But in your body, all the excess of these things will become sugar. Because the sugar is the easiest particle to get inside of the cell. And it's the last and easiest part to transport in our body. So if we have excess of this, it's going to stay here. So it's going to stay in the abdominal fat, and it's going to accumulate. And all of that is going to develop the rest of the disease. If we lost 1 or 2 kilograms of fat, automatically the blood pressure is going to fall. Okay, the cholesterol, triglyceride levels are going to go low, and it's going to help us. Okay, so the beginning of the problem is that we don't diagnose them. Okay, the measurement of the different parts of our body is very important when you go to a consult. So the compromise of the medical in this year is to do that. Okay, when you go to the consult, to measure your waist, okay, and have the first point to the rest of the wrist. But you also have to ask for it when you go. You're gonna say, please, I want to know which one is my measurement in my waist, because that is going to help you really good. Okay, so the point of all of this is that when you have these different risk factors, at the end, you're going to have troubles. Okay, the principal death causes are the heart attack. That is very common. So the heart attack, the strokes, and the diabetes type 2 complications are the most common consequences of all these diseases. All of this can be treated here, of course, can be treated here at SIME. The first thing that you gotta do is to take one appointment with me, obviously, and then we're going to make all the labs, all the screening about the different stuff, the chronic disease that you have, and then we're going to explore each one where you should need treatment. We also have here the rest of the specialties, as I told you. We have more than 20 specialties here, okay? We can have labs here, CT scan, ultrasound, and with that we're going to have a good diagnosis. And the most difficult part of all of that is continue the treatment. That's the hardest part, because I know our food is delicious. It's the better we have in here. But that is the most difficult part. When you know that you have the problem, the second step to solve the problem is to accept the problem. And after, to keep the solution. So the solution, I mean, it's easy to say, just make exercise, just eat less sugar, eat less fat. But the problem is to compromise with that and continue doing that. Okay, the cardiologist is not going to check you every month. The endocrinologist is not going to check you every month. We are going to check you every month, especially the medicine family, the general medical. So we are going to check you every month, and we should keep doing the measurement of all your body. So the compromise with that, the compromise with SIME, is that to help you in all of these chronic disease and the rest of disease that you may have. Okay? So try to approve all of the services, because we can solve many problems here. And if we don't have the solution, as somebody asked, you say you, for example, have some surgery somewhere else, and we can solve it, the solution that we give you is to give you a formulary where you can go and we say, where can you solve that? It's especially when you have surgical problems. If you have three of those, three or more, but minimal, three of those risk factors, you have metabolic syndrome. And sometimes, as I told you, it's underrated because you know that you suffer of this, but you never talk about it. Yeah, but there is a diagnosis that should be done in every medical procedure. Any other question somebody has? No?
I'm sorry, sir, were you speaking to me about my particular question?
Yes.
The scenario was that one of your traumatologists suggested a surgery, but he was not in the network of Vida Buena. Okay. Has that issue been addressed more? Do you have more of your specialists here that are now
In
network?
Manta, there is a big offer of different specialists that have in network of different insurance.
Right,
You
but I'm
should
talking
look
specifically about the SIME.
well, SIME, I was talking with my boss, in Carlos, and she said that we are working on that to provide you somewhere to go. Okay.
Right.
But if you need help, especially with something, you can talk with her. Okay, because she's looking, and now we're working on solution of that problem.
Well, in this particular instance, there was a diagnosis here. And of course, I had to travel to Guayaquil
Okay.
to have the surgery, and there was no communication between SIME and them, and so the surgery was not very successful.
Okay. The thing is that from here we make a document, a medical document, that is a form 053, where we say that we can solve something that should be solved somewhere else, and that should be shown to the insurance, and we continue the solution. I'll talk to you about this because I also work somewhere else where we work with insurance, and we make that. Okay, you give us this paper, we read it, we write the 008 formula or the formulary that we need, and everything talking could be solved.
Well, the particular traumatologist that I saw here was not in any network.
Sometimes the same person that is here can solve that problem outside, but there's gonna be always somewhere in the area that could solve that.
The area includes Guayaquil.
Ecuador, Manta. No, but usually Manta we have.
Okay.
You just gotta talk to us and talk, but you can find because we have a lot of offers here in Manta.
This particular traumatologist had surgical privileges in Puerto Viejo, but it was still not approved for Puerto Viejo. Still had
Sometimes I told you it doesn't depend on the medical, it depends on the hospital or the clinic, and sometimes depend on the place, not the special.
clinic, meaning SIME.
SIME or hospitals, particular hospital. Well, thank you. Another question.
Does it matter if a cholesterol and your bad cholesterol is fine, while your good cholesterol is wrong? From having that happens. So it doesn't matter if your good cholesterol good, wrong, wrong, and bad cholesterol wrong, but good cholesterol.
If you want to understand it, you probably got to write it.
Okay, exactly.
Okay, normally the question was that what happened if the total cholesterol was high and the bad cholesterol is high too, and the good one is normal. Okay, the most important is both. Both. Both should be perfect. Okay, the total cholesterol is what should be a plus of both. Okay, but the most important, at least for men, is that the bad one be low. Okay, because the good one, to make it higher, is more difficult. It's more difficult to have a good cholesterol high. It's more difficult to get. For that reason, we give medication to make lower the bad ones. Got it? No more question? Okay. That's all by my part. Thank you very much.
Dr. Baque. Okay, right now we want to show everybody the SIME services. Then I want to invite those two tables to work with Dr. Baque. We will show you what kind of services offer SIME. And the other group, the other two tables will go with Carla. And we will show you what basically have to offer you, what kind of services, how it works, and then we will come back for a toast, okay, and finish the event. Thank you so much.
I think it's before and after that you have shown here. And once the doctor, you see the doctor, you come to pay, and also if you have any order, maybe blood work, X-rays or MRI or anything, so you just show her. And also, as some of you know, you can take a photo and send it to me, and then we can request authorization from the insurance company. And after that, once they give the authorization to me or to them, you just can come and pay the copay here. So here you can come and pick up the medicine.
And you just pay the copay.
Copay, right. Pediatria. Carditis. Pediatrics. Yes.
How do you do it's forever. We haven't been going anywhere.
Thank you for your attention today. After the presentation, we extend a cordial invitation for you to partake in a celebratory toast. Following this, we will have a raffle where BlueBox offers a travel insurance policy for 1 week. Okay. You will see that front of your seat, you have a number. Front of your seat, take a look, you have a number there. Please keep the number with you because again, well, let me repeat the raffle information. BlueBox travel insurance policy for 1 week. SIME will provide an annual preventive checkup, including the test and doctor appointments. Okay? And EcuaAssist, a medical power of attorney. To continue, let's invite to Carla Hualpa, the CEO of SIME, to come here and give our celebratory toast. Carlita, please.
Ladies and gentlemen, and distinguished speakers, please raise your glasses and join me in a toast to this magnificent event. I hope it has been very informative for all. Cheers!
Cheers!
Cheers with everyone. Okay, and I want to invite my wife a moment. Let me introduce my wife also. She is with me all the time. She is one of the most important persons of my life. Thank you for your support. Could you help me with the numbers? Okay, BlueBox offer a travel insurance policy. Okay, take a look to your numbers. Take a look to your numbers. Number 21. Somebody has the 21 number. 21 number. If you found it on the next seat, it's yours.
No, ese ahí, no hay nadie.
No.
No hay nadie.
Let's take another one, Carolina. Okay, let's try again. If no, I will keep it with me. Okay. Number 36. 36. Oh, hooray! Take a picture, please. Congrats, congrats.
Ahora, Carlita, para que usted saque el de SIME.
How to do that, okay?
Gracias,
Thank you so much. Now, SIME will provide a full annual preventive checkup, including doctor appointments and medical tests. Carla, number please. 19. Somebody has a 19 number? Take a look, 19 number, or I will say that I have it.
¿No?
I need an annual preventive checkup.
Ahí está ese cosito para que se tome un poco con eso.
No? Okay, let's try another one.
14.
14. The 14. Somebody has it? Everybody has insurance, nobody wants the preventive checkup. Another one, let's try again. 5, number 5. Oh, again! Oh my God! The lucky woman today. Okay, please come with us for the picture. Please over here for the picture. Oh, you are so lucky. Congrats. Thank you so much. Thank you to everybody. The next is EcuaAssist offers a medical power of attorney. Robina, could you go the numbers please? Okay, let's see.
Pero eso es normal, le dan tipo personal. Ay, pero le voy a hacer paso.
Again? Okay. 33. Oh, great. You open it over there.
Pero dígame, ¿me hago el problema?
Okay, Romina will go with you. Okay, thank you once again to everyone who joined us today. I hope the information we shared has been beneficial and that you enjoy the remaining of the day. Please don't hesitate to contact us if you have any questions or require further information. Enjoy the wine, enjoy the food. We will be walking around here. If you have any question, I will be happy to help you. Thank you again to everybody.